The answer to every question is you don't.
You don't.
Yeah, that's
See, so there's this thing. All right, I live my life in deep hypnosis, but you don't. There's a narration that there's been a living of life in deep hypnosis now. Literally, if you look at it now, the narration which says it's been happening a long time is of now. Yeah, you're saying I, which is off, live in a deep hypnosis most of my life. Yeah. Now, usually that gets established, and then you move on to critiquing. Is that a good idea? Should you be living under hypnosis? How can I wake up from the yes? On and on. So it triggers thousands of tributaries if that first thing gets established. But the idea of investigation, the self-inquiry, is to go the other way. So who is it that's been in deep hypnosis all these years? Yeah. If it isn't you, you'll lose interest in the narration that you've been in deep hypnosis all these years. That's what happens. Now, if the you's still there, it's trying to lose interest as the you is more interest in being the one who is in deep hypnosis. Don't you see it? I'll break it down. You can see it. You can see its little movements, and by seeing its movements, it implies it's not you. Yeah, thank God. Yeah. So it's subtle movement. So suddenly you go into a group and you share, oh, I've been living under deep hypnosis my whole life. Now usually that will get past the security, and then it will be established, and then someone will speak from there, or other people will share from there. Oh, so I've also been under deep hypnosis. We're all under deep, yes. And of course, if we're under deep hypnosis, maybe there's a feeling we'd rather not be in deep hypnosis. Yes, there's a little. Yeah, so the observation is spurring an action or a movement. Yeah, I don't want to be under deep hypnosis. Now, you could say the hypnosis is established, and then the hypnosis is observing it's in hypnosis, doesn't want to be in hypnosis, which is more of the hypnosis. Yeah, you can see it that way. Yeah, so the hypnosis is established, so now it's the duality. Oh, I've been really hypnotized, I want to be less hypnotized. Yeah, you see? So this gets established, well, that's a fact, and I want it to be I don't want it to be a fact, so we're trying to make another fact. Yeah, so there's this, the one being in the deep hypnosis now goes to the two, and then there's tons of mental minutia that arises about how deeply have you been hypnotized. Not as much as my fucking partner, so that's better, or most of the people, but then other people see much less. Yes, goes on and on and on. You just want to, instead of going into gear, see that you're not that which that goes into gear. Because if it's the you that thinks it's going into gear, then it wants to go back into reverse, which is gear. Yeah. So you just see it's not you, and then see how important is it for you to realize you're in deep hypnosis. It's not really that important if you're not that. It's just the way things are. This is a programmable event. Yeah, get used to it. Yeah. We're being worked on. Why do you think these people? You think they spend all this money to learn us, to learn the simple format, so that they can lead us to buy shit we don't need to buy and stuff like that? Of course. They spend millions and millions of dollars of studying what we're not, really, to learn how to manipulate it for their own ends. Yeah. Yeah. So this is programmable. So you could say it's under hypnotism. Yeah, the hypnotism is self-centeredness. Yeah. And the system is under the hypnotism of the system, but you're not the system. That's the whole point. The point is, I'm the, see, because the feeling of being the one that's in the system is really the center of the system. Yeah, it's sort of like when people call me up and they've gone in and out in recovery, and part of the ritual of going out is now they call me and tell me why they went out. As if that's a honest observation of the problem. That's part of the problem. Yeah, I mean, it's disguised as a solution, but it's part of the problem. Because I've watched it 8 times. Yeah, it's a package deal. The person goes out, and then they know why they went out, but it didn't stop them from going out. What's the point of that knowledge? Yeah, it has the knowledge. The point of the knowledge would that it would have prevented them from going out. If it comes after them constantly going out, that's not knowledge. It's part of the problem. Yeah, you see? So this whole thing is just recognizing what you're not, seriously. Because there's an interest and attention that goes wherever the head thinks you go, the you that it's obsessed with. It doesn't matter. It can be super interested in Star Trek or whatever, nothing right or wrong with it. It doesn't matter. Wherever you seem to go, its interest goes. It's like a dog. Yeah, it's been programmed to think this is the owner, so it follows the owner. So how do you stop the? It's sort of like the story of moths. You know, they're fucking driving you crazy because you're sitting right under a light. So you try to swat it and do all these things. Just take the light out. The moths will disperse. Yeah, there's a reason why they're attracted. It's to the light. If you remove the source of the light, the attraction they'll go somewhere else. It's not like, but you adamantly staying as the light, the thoughts will keep fucking swirling around you. Yeah. Now you want to see how you can back the thoughts away, or make them all good, or train them to go only certain things by affirmations, but you don't see the gravitational pull isn't the thoughts, it's you. It's the planet of Sharon or Paul, which is putting out this thing that sort of pulls thoughts into an orbit, so they're always seemingly about you. Yes. So you want this to change, but you don't see this is the cause. You know, where's it gonna go? All you can do is basically get temporary relief and then constantly disappointed as what you're not when it doesn't last. So you gotta keep re-upping, and then it turns into a whole other slavery. You thought you were enslaved to the thoughts, now you're enslaved to trying to master the thoughts. Yeah? And then that people want to get slicker and slicker, but they want themselves to be included. They don't see that's the dilemma. Yeah? It's like a mathematical system. If the primary number was off, the whole system would be off. The primary number in the mental mathematics is 1, you. You know, an independent, long-lasting, separate thing that's doing, is the thinker, is the feeler, is the seer, is this, yes? It's sort of like taking a role of being a huge noun, and it doesn't have the oomph to be it. Yeah? It just doesn't. It's verbing all the fucking time, messing the whole noun up. Yeah, so it wants, oh, I'm really cool as a noun, 9 a.m. Sunday morning, but 9:03 you may be fucked up as a noun. Yeah, you can't seem to get it to stabilize. But you never realize maybe you're the destabilizing condition. Maybe that's the point. Yeah, this is like the humble smell of non-duality. You get a whiff of it, and maybe you go, wait a minute. You know, like we say in recovery. You know, you're in a house that's burning down. You don't need to hear there's no house and there's no you. You need to know where a pail of water is. Yeah, put out the fire. But after the fire's out, maybe someone can ask you, you know, you're at a lot of fires, Paul. Don't you see any kind of connection? Maybe you're a fire starter. What? So instead of suddenly there's an opening and you see your role in things. See what you're not's role in things. And there's relief there. Incredible relief. As soon as you see your role in things, there's seemingly relief from your role in things. It's unbelievable, yeah? Yeah? This is the whole point of non-duality. The fixed aperture is wide as hell. When you take yourself to be the formatted aperture, it wants to get wider, but it keeps locking back in, yeah? But the aperture itself, what we are, is wide as hell. There's no need to try to, like they used to say, there's no need to polish the mirror. The mirror can reflect perfectly. It's you. What happens is you're busy trying to polish the mirror. All you see in the mirror is you polishing the mirror. You know, when the essence of what the mirror will reflect is emptiness, which is of your real nature, there you'll be as the action figure trying to polish the mirror to get a better reflection, yeah, of itself, really. So the whole point is these, to me, once you get the idea of this non-duality, and you see that the idea of the non-duality will be claimed by what you're not as like any other idea, and then you now teach about that. You say, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to walk away thinking you heard the message, yeah? And so that which is claiming to be the hero of the message isn't you. So you have to keep pointing out, because if you describe it in one uniform, it has a big closet. It can wear a lot of uniforms. So you can't, oh, it's always going to be dressed in a blue policeman. No, it isn't. It's going to have the judge role, the victim's outfit, yeah. So you recognize it. After you recognize it a few times, you don't have to see all of its fucking fashion plates. You recognize itself masquerade with a different uniform. You recognize it, yeah? And in that recognition, what's the recognition? I'm not that. So now, instead of being unresting and irritable and discomfortable in that, or uncomfortable, looking for rest and comfort and ease, you're in another state of being chilled out, seeing that, yeah? And you're not beholden to it anymore, because something has been cleared up. You have heard enough about what you are to recognize it to be what you're not, basically. Yeah, that's what happens. And so suddenly a fact is established, and lucky gold miner you are, it's actually real. You finally tapped into a real ore, yeah? That's always going to be available at all times, with no requirement necessary for it to be polished up to be gold. It's gold, yeah. Yeah, so therefore, now there's a fact that's in place that changes how the meaning is given. It's a different scale, yeah? So not everything is being scaled with this assumed fact. Now there's a real fact on it. And then the final fact of being you is put against the scale and is seen to be assumed. It seems to be implied. It seems to be insinuated. And it's weighed, and it comes up short, so to speak. So now, instead of leaping from the sentence of observation this way, you just take a step off the diving board and you see, I'm not that. So instead of having to learn to have to swim through the fucking volatile seas of duality and conditions and circumstances, you see what you're not, diving off the board, yeah, and going through its own little format, its little destiny, and then you're here, yeah. When it gets drowned, you don't get drowned. When it reaches another shore, you don't go to the other shore, yeah. When it thinks it's completely lost, you're not. When it thinks, oh, I finally found it, you're not, yeah. So you need neither this nor that, neither this nor that, neither this nor that. And after a while, it doesn't matter the specifics of this or that. You see the this or that, whatever they are to be. Yeah? So suddenly, you thought they had all the glue and they were what was adhering. You realize you were the Velcro, and all these things were being adhered this way. So now you're not the Velcro. Things, oh, that stuff used to really fuck with me. It doesn't seem to fuck with me as much. Did it change? No, but something did. Yeah. Actually, something didn't change. That's the beauty of it. What you are hasn't changed. And you see that you were never the Velcro. You never will be the Velcro. And basically, the adhesion and the Velcro are made up. They're what you're not. Yeah. For you to be disconnected, there's got to be a sense you were once connected. Yeah? And then for you to feel connected, there had to be a sense you were disconnected. Yeah? So the you that you're not appears in two lights. If you saw it in a mirror, it would have you'd see two sides, yeah? Connected, disconnected. It can't entertain one without the other. And it's most of us, it's formatted destiny here is to lean more to one than the other, like more disconnected with the great hope of being connected, but most of the time in the sense of being disconnected. It's a bad deal. I remember when I used to surf, I used to have a payoff cost ratio. So I'd get to the beach, waves were maybe 10 feet. I said, wow, that's a heavy cost, paddling out there. I don't know if it's worth the payoff. Knowing that there'll be waves tomorrow, I could pass on it, yeah? Because the payoff cost ratio wasn't good. I could get killed, you know, unless there'll be another day. So then when it was 4 to 7, hey, nice, chilled out, easy access, fucking great. High, you know, high payoff, little cost, pretty good. Being what you're not is a heavy cost. It is. You can live as what you're not with all the vitality and consciousness of what you are, and feel the consciousness feeling it's separate, doesn't have what it wants, unlovable or not able to love or receive. All these crazy ideas could only be fueled or the possibility of them being entertained is based on your own nature, consciousness. Yeah? So now you're conscious of this feeling of being lost your whole life. It's all made up, really. You've never been lost, nor will you be found, you know?
And that, maybe there's a hypnosis.
Of course it's a hypnosis. Perception is a hypnosis. So here, I just changed my perception. That's how easy it is. Just, you know, having a bad day, just get some of these happy glasses now. They send a message to your brain, have a better attitude. This thing can be altered like that. You can listen to beats, binaural beats, and they'll change the waves of your brain, and quote unquote, your attitude will miraculously change. Because it's not your attitude. This is a whole action figure that's promoting experience.
I get that, but even Sharon is in hypnosis.
Yeah, so what? The only thing that's upset about that is Sharon, and you're not that. The only thing that doesn't want to hear the news, it's in the hypnosis, is that which is in the hypnosis, supposedly. Really. The only thing that's chanting, I'm not a body, is a body. What else would want to get out of a body but a body? It's unbearable to be a body as a body. Yeah? Look at the cosmetic business. Trillions of dollars trying to stop the inevitable. I don't want any lines on my face. So just like fucking, if you go on a certain day, the most traffic is in the fucking cosmetic aisle. Fuck good food. Get me a good moisturizer. Yes, literally. Look at how many diets have come out. Tons more than spiritual paths. Tons more. There's been more diets than there's been more paths of diets than almost thousands of them, because they inherently don't work. So everyone keeps applying. Now what, it's paleo or something, it's always a new something. It's just like fashion. The ladies wearing these pants all the way up here, that's from the 50s. They think they're, I have the new fashion. That's what they were wearing in the 50s, 60s. They just recycle shit. And then people have no history, so they think, oh yeah. They hear beautiful songs that are redos of old classics. You say, that's not their song, this is from what band? They have no idea. They think this person, wow, that's one of the greatest songs I've heard. It's not hers. Someone else wrote it in the 60s. Yeah? People forget constantly in remembering themselves all day. Hey, I hate to break it to you. I don't like the message myself as an action figure, because it took most of its fun out.
No, I like the message is really liberating. It's and I guess it just doesn't matter because it's just does what it does, but it's the arising of the hypnosis.
Again, so there's an aspect of you that likes the message, and there's an aspect of what you're not that doesn't like what the message is hopefully going to ease, which is the arising. Yeah? Just so you're not that either. Just take, every time there's a statement of being you, implied or overtly stated, just entertain the suspicion, I'm not that. It doesn't go on infinitely. The selfing has its limitations. It's a finite activity. It doesn't go on infinitely. You're way, way, way beyond it. Yeah? Yeah. So let's say you get the message of non-duality, and then there's a feeling that it's you that got the message. The message of non-duality would go back before that. That one who now thinks he understands non-duality, I'm not that either. Yes? It's just, I'm not that. That's the message. It's never, oh, I'm not that, and now that I am. No, it's never that. You don't know what you are here. You're just being it. Yeah? So that sense of wanting to know seems to be, it's a failed mechanism too. You can apply it to the rock and to the dog and to the shoes, but you can't apply it to what you are. All you can apply to what you are is being it. And there's not a moment when you're not being it to observe you're being it. Really? Yes? So that's it. It's just like it just mutes so many fucking echoes of the system. It does. It just mutes them. The notes they just clang against emptiness. They just drip down. And you just realize, basically, the I am is that I am. Yeah. It isn't like, I am that was observed by the I am. No, it's not that. It's I am that I am. That's it. Yeah. So my whole point is to see how the system reinvigorates itself, even concerning being introduced to this message, which it does. And so if you can catch it a few times, it isn't like you gotta catch it every fucking day. Because it's you, really. It's you masquerading as the policeman and you masquerading as the thief and being interested in like Keystone Cop activity, catching yourself, oh, this and that. There's a loss of interest in that. And then there's a point where the deep blueness of the uniforms weakens and you see through it all. And you just see it's just a mechanism that just keeps coughing itself, this idea up. And it's gonna run out 80 years, 90 years. Can't do it for long, really. Just coughs it up, It's just, I think it's immune to real change. Yeah, I do. I don't think the system can get out of the system. I don't think the system can evolve to another system. I just don't. I think it's stuck in an aberrated programming, which is, it sure would love to get out of itself, but as itself, and it doesn't ever get that clearly, that you're the obscuring agent. So the feeling of something obscure, you being the one who's getting obscured, you're the obscuring agent, and then the narration is you're the one being obscured. As if that's different than being the obscuring agent. They're both the same role. You're playing the same role, yeah? So you just see the whole kit and caboodle. It's just like spinning its wheels in the mud of Maya, so to speak. You know? It's got enough oomph to do it for 80 years, Like, let's say if you charge the battery, it's gonna, let's say the electric bike, it's got maybe a 40-mile range. So here you go, you charge the battery of selfing, and now it has a range of 80 years. Now, if you play really heavy, you may cut down on the range, and maybe you only get 60 years. Yeah, but basically, all battery charged events are gonna die down. Yeah, they're gonna lose. What continues? What's always there? Yeah. What's always there? What's so always there, you can't notice it. All you can see is the failedness of what you're using to attempt to reach something or to arrive at something that you already are. You just see the failedness of it. Yeah? And that does something. I don't know what. It just moves things. Yeah? So that at least this gets a great bonus, which is it never gets gypped. Yeah? It doesn't believe that it can be somewhere that it ain't. Yeah? It doesn't believe that something else could have happened when it didn't. It doesn't believe a lot of this stuff that it used to fuel on. Yeah? It doesn't believe any of it anymore. It's seen through it. And nothing's changed for years. So the seeing through it maybe 20 years ago, nothing has changed. Nothing that was seen through has reinvigorated and become real. No. It was obvious they've never been real. They're never gonna be real, but they're appearing real to what's real. Yeah? Now how long is that appearance gonna last? I don't know. Who cares really? Probably it's 80 years, 70 years, 90 years. Yeah? If you looked at 90, it's sort of like a 90-year dream at night, you'd wake up like that in a second, or a one-day dream at night, you'd wake up in a second. So obviously the time doesn't matter, does it? It matters while we're living as something in time, but that even dissipates. Some people are totally flipped out by something right now, and at 5 this afternoon, we'll have forgotten it. How real was it? How real was it that you were feeling really good, and then 2 minutes later, you're in Armageddon? I mean, you got to be suspicious of what's being presented. Yeah? I don't know, maybe you don't. I've just seen people lately, all right, there's value here in what's going on. And a lot of people, they're driven by what's not happening. They are the cause and the effect. They're imposing the power on the victim themselves. Where, man, if they could get some relief from shooting something, shoot it. I mean, really, it's just unbelievable. And some of them that I know are in very good situations. They're not like living on 6th and Market. And I think the head has so much free time, it's just doing fucking, 5 rotation flips on it, yeah? And if they don't get into some kind of service or something, it's gotta sort of collapse sometime. I mean, you can't keep concaving, I don't know how long, maybe 50 years. I just don't see how, it can only fucking go up its ass, come back, it can only do that so many times. It can't be an infinite rotation. It's gotta end, yeah? So I'm a believer in, hey, a little relief is better than none. So whatever fucking gets some relief, so at least your head gets a taste of what it could be like instead of what it seemingly is like all day. Yeah. Turn this off, bro, in a sense, because now we're here and personally